Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Mindset in the Morning, and we are here live 5 days a week at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. But because this is YouTube, you can tune in whenever you would like. And we're not here on Friday because I could not get the internet to work. So we're going to move from Friday, where we don't sugarcoat it, and we're going to talk about that today. And this is actually our last session that we have through the end of the year. And I wanted to talk about this topic because we start to think about what it is that we want to do in the next year. And we start to wrap our mind around what goals we have, what we want to accomplish, what our vision is for the next year. And so today I'm going to tell you, stop listening to the naysayers. So that's what we are going to be talking about here today But before we jump in, Mindset in the Morning is all about talking about mindset and how we can get prepared for the day, how we can engage the 6 inches in between our ears to become the strongest and most powerful player in the game of life, so that as things are happening, so that you can bob and weave. I often think of my time when I was boxing, and my coach would always tell me, just keep moving your head, even if you're not fighting. And that's because you are able to bob and weave when a punch does come. If you are just standing still and just waiting, then you are bound to get hit, because you are a target that they can see and they can pinpoint. But when you are moving your head back and forth, then it's harder to predict your move. So we want to have that same level of agility in our own life and just bob and weave, so that when life happens, we go, whoop, okay, not getting me, not getting me, not getting me. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So that's what we talk about here on the show, is how we can bob and weave through life and make our minds so incredibly strong that when something crazy happens, and all you really have to do is turn on the news and something crazy has happened out in the world, when it tries to get us, to suck us in to the state of suffering where we're in fear or we're anxious or we have resentment, that we can say, you know what? I'm not going there. I'm staying over in a state of peace. And the mind has the ability to do that. So that's what we're all about here on Mindset in the Morning. If you would, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because that not only helps grow this channel, but it also helps the algorithm to reach someone else that needs to hear this message today, so you can be part of the solution. All right, let's rock and roll. All right. So many times I have told my dreams to people, and I know they sound a little high pie in the sky. They're way out there. And you know what? I've been shot down. And how does it feel to get shot down from your dreams? It doesn't, you have this feeling like you see the dream, you close your eyes and there it is. And then, you imagine the impact that it's going to have in the world. You imagine what it's going to be like for someone to use that product or your services or whatever you're building. And then all it takes is just one person, and you tell them, and it's like, ooh, oh, that's a crazy idea. Oh, you don't think I can do it? Oh, you don't think it's possible? Oh, and then what happens? We start self-doubting. And then all of a sudden, this idea that we were so excited about, this idea that we wanted and that we loved, that we envisioned, that we imagined, that we saw coming to fruition, and the impact it was going to have and the people that it was going to be able to touch, all of a sudden, that joy, that high starts to fade away. And all of a sudden, this dream goes and fades into the back, into the back, into the back. And you don't have that spark any longer, because other people have said, I don't think it's possible. And it doesn't feel good, does it? It doesn't feel good to be on such a high than to go to such a low. Well, I want to encourage you today to be really careful about who you share your dreams with. And that's not to say don't share your dreams with anybody. And that's not to say don't share your dreams with everybody. If you do share your dreams with everybody, you gotta be prepared for the naysayers. This vision that you have, I truly believe that you were given this vision. Each and every one of us has a purpose for our lives. Each one of us has a mission that we are supposed to fulfill. And I don't know that I've even figured out a fraction of what my vision is, what my mission is for my life. I've done some things, I have some ideas, but the more I allow my mind to wander, the bigger things are getting. And I tell people, and it does sound a little out there, but what if when the internet was being thought of, people said, that is crazy. There's no way people are going to log into this thing called the internet, going to go to a search engine like Google and look for everything that they need. There's no way. You know, the internet was actually thought about. I can't remember the gentleman's name, or I think it was two of them, but it was back closer to the early 1900s. And it took several decades. It took till almost the end of the century for that to finally come around. Do you remember when the internet came around? I do. And we just slowly started using it. And then all of a sudden, those massive encyclopedias that we used to have growing up, yep, I just dated myself, those went away. Why? Because we had the internet. And you don't even really have to go to the library for everything, because there's ways via a computer that you can get access to what's in the library. I mean, it's so incredibly powerful. What if someone said, you are crazy, Thomas Edison, a light bulb? Whatever, candles work just fine. We don't really need light. We can just use the light from the sun. And when the sun goes down, well, that's when we're supposed to go to bed anyway. And we use candles at that time. So we don't really need to have a light bulb. Look at how many times you've tried this thing. What, 10,000 times, I think, before is it working? Nope. What happened on that 10,000th time? Give or take one or two. Yeah, the light bulb came about. We don't walk into a room without using a light bulb. That's how it is. What about a vehicle? What about a plane? What about going into space? What about all of these things that we use on a day-to-day basis? What about the telephone? Oh my gosh, we use our phones all the time. They didn't have phones around. They had these like massive, big old telephones like that's how they started. And now we have that's a brush. But now we have these tiny itty bitty phones, and they have access to everything because they have the internet in them, and they have all these applications that make our lives easier and all of these things. But you see, someone had to have a vision. Someone had to see what the impact that idea was going to have in the world. And they had to be more sure of that than the naysayers. There are tons of naysayers. And it could be for many reasons. They don't see the vision like you do. They weren't given that vision. That was yours. Your higher power said, this vision is for you. Execute, not for everybody else. You see, we have so many things that are happening in our lives in our day to day. And and sometimes it's our brains aren't even, you may throw something at me left field, and I'm not prepared to even try to wrap my head around that. So if I'm not told the vision in the right way, or if I just have so much going on that my mind is not allowed to expand in that way, then it's going to be hard for me to see that vision, or I just may never see it. There are some people that are more visual learners. There are some people, that can read things and they just understand how it's supposed to look. Some people need a demo, I mean, there are different learning styles. So if you go talk to someone who needs to read it in order to absorb it, if that's their learning style, then you're already approaching someone in a way that doesn't work for them to try to show them a vision. And if they don't get it, well, yeah, they don't get it. You didn't show it to them in the way that they process information. So of course they don't get it. But how many times do we put all of our energy into the person or the people that then come back and say, you know what, that's not possible. And we allow that. We allow their response to dictate if we then move forward or not. Oh, well, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. That is kind of a crazy idea. Yeah. I think we should just stick with candles. I think a light bulb is crazy. The internet, nobody will use that. Yeah. Going into space, that's an insane idea. Like, like all the way into space. Oh, land on a moon. Yeah. All right. That's nuts. If all of the people that had ever done something massive and extraordinary were told no, and they believed it, where would we be as a society? You'd still be using those encyclopedias. And you know what? I'm sure even in an encyclopedia, somebody said, that's crazy. You want to consolidate all of the important information into one book or a series of books? That's crazy. And you want to print them and you think people are going to buy them? Like, it doesn't matter. Just look around. There's somebody that can say that's crazy to almost everything. So who are you going to believe? Yourself, your vision, or the person that's saying no? Now, I'm not saying don't go talk to people about your vision. I would actually encourage you to have a mentor, someone that has paved the way. You know, I've noticed something recently in my life, and I was doing a lot of thinking over the weekend about this. And when I stepped out and I became an entrepreneur, I didn't have a lot of entrepreneurial folks in my circle. And there were a lot of people that didn't understand what I was doing. And it was really hard to relate. And so I got involved in a lot of different coaching groups, and that was really great because we could all talk about, you know, some of the challenges that were going, what worked well for us, what didn't work well, and we could just bounce ideas off of each other. And it felt really good to finally have a group of people. I had a girlfriend of mine who professed to be one of my good friends, and she said, "Don't you think you should just go back into corporate?" I'm like, it's only been 2 months. Like, what do you mean go back into corporate? I'm not going back into corporate. That's crazy. But she didn't know how to support me. She didn't have anything to relate. If I had just listened to her, then sure, I'd be back in corporate. But you see, I have a vision that is so much greater. And I have a vision of the impact that I'm going to be able to make. And I will never be able to make this level of impact in corporate, or at least me in corporate working for someone else, doing what I was doing. That will absolutely never happen. But in all fairness to her, she wanted me to be successful. And, you know, sometimes it's tough seeing people just getting started. I mean, it took Thomas Edison 10,000 times. Do you think at some point his wife and friends may have thought, all right, buddy, it's been 9,000 times. Do you think maybe time to, you know, switch gears? You really think this is going to happen? And they're doing it to help keep you safe. But you're the one with the vision, not them. So they're not necessarily coming at you from this evil place of they don't want you to succeed. And there are certainly those people out there. So mind you, there are those, okay? But your friends and the people around you, it's not necessarily that they want to sabotage your greatness. It's that they want to protect you from getting hurt. And if you put all of your energy into something that's just not working out, why don't you do something that you know is going to work out? But if I go back into corporate, if Thomas Edison had just given up, if the internet idea was just crazy and we wouldn't even be here. This is done through the internet. I mean, everything in our life that you look around. I'm sure there was someone that said, that's crazy. Why would you create that? Nobody's going to buy that. And yet you bought it because you're looking around at it. You're using it. You have it. But it takes you being bigger. Listen to this. It takes you being bigger than all of the feedback. And we talk about this. about how it doesn't matter what people say to me because my self-love, my self-assurance is so much bigger than the words that are used to try to tear me down. And they happen. So be bigger than those words. Be bigger than the naysayers and go for your dreams. You have to have that trust, that belief, that assurance with yourself that everything is going to be okay. And when you do, you can step into everything powerfully. It's confidence. You got to have confidence within yourself. And if you have not, if you have not read Confidence is Queen, this is a great way to get confidence within yourself, but it teaches you how to connect. You have to trust in who you are. You have to trust that person more than you trust these naysayers, their words, their ideas, their opinions of what you're doing. Your vision was a gift for you. So when you start to think about next year, 2022, 2023, 2024, when you start to think about the future, where do you want to be in 5 years? How many times have we heard that? Write it down and continue and allow your mind to just wander. And I'm telling you, the more you allow your mind to expand, the bigger it will get. And then start taking steps towards your dreams. And as you do take these steps, this is how you can gain trust with yourself. Stop and notice that you're one step closer. And then as you take another step, notice that you've taken one step further. And as you take another step, notice the progress that you've been making. And all of a sudden, you're going to start to have the trust that you are making progress, the trust that you can do whatever it is that you are set out to do. Sometimes it seems so far away in order to create something or do something because it's such a big thing. But the way, I don't know why this is a saying, the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. The way that you get to your dreams is one step at a time. And you will constantly come in contact with people that don't see the vision, don't get it. But you know what's going to feel really amazing is when you complete whatever it is that you are set out to do. And you don't have to go around and say, see, I told you so. Because whatever it is that you're doing is going to stand on its own. Maybe it's getting your degree. Maybe it's creating something new, building a business, starting a family, moving to another country. I don't know, writing a book, whatever your dream is. When you've completed it, the world can see it. We don't need to fight anger with anger, negativity with negativity. If people don't believe you, show them. Show them. Finish the task that you have in your mind and show them. Show the world how great you are. Be careful who you tell people. And if you decide you want to tell everybody, then know that there will be people that will say no. It doesn't matter what your idea is. There will be people that want to protect you or that just don't see the vision. And that's okay. You have to believe in you more than they believe in you. And maybe it's not that they don't believe in you, but they truly want to keep you safe. So show them through completing whatever it is that you can do it. I believe you can. I know you can. So think of your list for next year. It is the end of the year, and this is the last time that we're going to meet because I'm going to take a couple of weeks off and we'll reconvene in the new year. But I want you to have the most incredible year of your life. Know that naysayers are out there. Know that some people only just want to protect you. And it is not out of spite. Show them. Show them. All right. With that, I want you to have a very, very happy holiday season. Even if you don't celebrate all of the holidays, just have a nice next couple of weeks, whatever it is that you are doing. But call someone that you know, spend some time with family or friends or whatever that looks like for you, and get quiet. I would encourage you to think about what it is. What's the impact? What do you want to do in this upcoming year? Write some things down so that you can see them. Create a vision board. We'll talk about vision boards next year. Create something that you are able to see so that you can go back and reference it. All right. With that, I will see you next year. Make sure that as you go out, you continue to be powerful and show up as the person that you know that you are every single day. All right. We'll see you next year. Cheers.